All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started to another episode of Underrated Profession. I'm William Graham, aka Big Fundamentals.
And I'm your boy Mike Sauls, aka Maestro, aka the Great, aka Hands are ordained by the barber gods. And we sit here with two special gentlemen today. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Excuse me. I am Aubrey Harley, representing the brand L'Oreal Professionnel.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
And Floyd Kenyatta, 75 years old this June.
Okay, congratulations.
Nice.
Last living icon, 120 salons.
I don't know. Hold on. Hold on. I want y'all to repeat that. Repeat that again. Repeat that again, please, for us one time, please.
Opened 120 salons. 1980, Black Enterprise named me America's largest black salon owner. I had 7 locations at that time, doing 1.5 million. 1981, opened 27 salons that one year. I opened Mandalay Bay, Mandalay Place in Las Vegas, Rocco Donna in South Beach, Miami. Just to name a few.
Just to name a few. Just to name a
Did
few.
you hear the resume though?
So I know you all are just like myself. The list was so long that we'll make sure we put in the comments or the show notes. We'll have you the list.
Everything in the show notes
that both of these young men do, especially in happy young 75.
Well, I don't mean to brag. But
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
But we are here at the Hair in Motion Texture Unplugged here in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Hilton. So this is exciting. We have, again, an honor to have you all sit down and talk with us and come hang out with us and chop it up.
Chop it up for us.
Yeah.
All right, so a couple of you like to ask a few questions. But before we get started, I guess you already kind of blew my way with it.
Well, okay, let me start off with
Let's see what we want to start off with.
Let me start off with them like this. Because I want to know from both of you.
Yes.
All right. Two-part question. What made you get into hairstyling or the hair field? What made y'all get into the hair field? And how old were you when you did?
Well, let me start off by saying the global icon Floyd Kenyatta here himself, this is my mentor.
Oh, that's your mentor?
Yeah, so based on, for 20 years, so based on the big, huge, long resume you just heard,
yes, sir.
You're looking at the heir to the throne.
Okay.
I know that's right. Make that clear. Make that clear.
You can't take it with you.
Can't take it.
You can't take it with you. You know, I tell everybody, I said, listen, the secret to getting rich is pretty easy.
Right.
All you gotta do is outlive that motherfucker that got the money now. It ain't hard. It ain't hard. And you'll have your chance.
That's right. I like that.
Be able to soak up this knowledge though, because y'all about to give me some jewels that I'm gonna take back to my students and hopefully they pass it on too, just like that. Because that's what it's about.
Yeah,
That's what it's about. But I'm gonna live longer though too.
That's right. So picking back up the question, like you said, we've got a few questions we'd like to ask and speak on behalf of our students and questions they may have as well. So like you said, so what made you want to get into hair and how long you been, what you want to become an entrepreneur? That's why when I think of hair, or the industry, I think of entrepreneurship. So what made you want to do that? One of y'all can speak on it?
Well, I just have to say, what made me get into hair, I think hair actually chose me. It was about fate. I remember it's about 21. Supposed to be going looking for a job. Parents sent me to college. That didn't work out. And socializing, the grades and everything else. So I don't know. Just ended up falling up into a hair school. I was going to apply for an application and come to find out it was a hair school. So I saw the energy and everything, and next thing you know, it all started from there. So this is what I need to be.
Right.
A lot of pretty people there. The energy was contagious. Happy people. And I said, oh, this is what I need to be.
Right.
So then we just took the rear view mirror and there wasn't no looking back.
That's it.
Nice.
That's it.
It was sorry about that.
I know you the man.
You the head of the throne. You
the head of the throne right here.
Yeah, but
good.
she gonna have to wait. So, well, with me, my story a little bit different because I'm from North Carolina. Okay. And being from North Carolina, man, I grew up.
And I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Where you from again?
Yeah,
Originally?
where you
I forgot to ask you.
I'm from Ashland/Virginia in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
Sorry,
So,
sorry.
a bunch of country boys. He's from upstate though.
I'm
man.
from New York,
Yeah.
you know, in the building. You ain't
We know
gonna,
how
you ain't gonna put me down. So hold it
I
down.
cook out there, but I ain't gonna get into that. Anyway.
Well, so my story is a little bit different because being from North Carolina, I grew up raking leaves, shining shoes,
Tobacco?
priming tobacco, not picking tobacco,
Not picking-
priming tobacco,
Okay.
picking cotton,
Yeah.
and I have worked for 75 cents a day. Okay, because when you actually pick cucumbers, you only get 25 cents a bushel, and you could pick the 3 bushels in a day. Okay, so working for 75 cents a day, I have become the master of the dollar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And growing up, my house didn't have running water. Okay. We get the bath on the weekend in the foot tub.
Right.
So I began to adopt the philosophy that when you sleep on the floor, you can't fall out of the bed.
Right.
I have nothing to lose.
Right.
Okay. I would go after any and everything I want because I have nothing
To
to
lose.
lose.
Right. I like that.
Okay. Getting into hair to me was as simple as not being in the tobacco field.
I know how that goes. I'm telling you.
So you can so it's like, okay, wait a minute. I can do your hair, make you look more beautiful. I'm working in air conditioning and I'm working with women. You gonna pay me and tip me? It was easy.
It was easy.
It was easy. It's like, this is me. Okay? So I went after it, but my approach was getting out of barber school, and I said, I'm gonna donate my first 5 years to become knowledgeable on, let's say, your environment.
Got you.
Because a lot of people don't realize geographics have a lot to do with your income and your success.
Yes, it does.
I finished beauty school in New York with the Academy,
Okay.
7th Avenue and Broadway. Okay. What worked for me in New York didn't work in Baltimore. What worked for me in Baltimore did not work with me at Green and Durham and Dudley's.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Legendary.
what worked there didn't work in Atlanta.
Right.
Okay. So every time you change your geographics, it's a different game.
That's right.
So if you don't understand the map and geographics, then you did in the sauce already.
Already.
Okay.
But you're also growing at the same time from each a moment that you went through with those different states. You learn
That's it.
every time.
That's it, because you think it's all about the dollar.
Right.
But it's not about the dollar in the beginning, it's about the knowledge.
About the knowledge.
Okay, so I would spend my time, every month I work in 3 different states.
Wow.
Okay, I would do Durham, then I would do Warrenton, North Carolina, then I would go to Columbia, Maryland, and I would do that. Oh, wait a minute. Also, I would put in 2 days in New York.
Wow.
Okay, so, and that was my routine every month.
Every month.
So after about 3 years of doing that, I was very seasoned with National Geographics.
Right.
So was that so looking back, and that's going to be one of the questions we want to probably ask later. But when you deciding to do those multiple locations, was that your intent? What was your intent behind? Was that your intention, or just kind of happened organically, or that was your plan, or?
Well, every place have issues. Okay, and it's almost like being married.
Right. Hey, don't get me in trouble. My wife watches this.
Sorry.
No, miss. We good.
Okay, but it's a lot to learn.
Right.
In order to balance things out, that there's a formula to the success. Okay, so I've been married like 4 times, right? Okay. So
three-
I'm seasoned with
3
that.
years.
Okay.
3 years.
So one of my marriages, beautiful lady, we dated forever, but in our bedroom, I like a fluffy pillow. She like a thin pillow. So the bedroom was lopsided.
Right.
I like air conditioning. She didn't like air conditioning.
Right.
I had a Cadillac,
Right.
So we're going down the road. My window up, air conditioner blowing, her window down, head stuck out the window.
Complete opposite.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had one TV. She liked one kind of show, I like another type of show.
Right.
So as we began to search for this knowledge and how to balance things out, and I began to realize, it's like, wait a minute. If I had two TVs, that would have solved that problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple formula.
Yeah.
And we might have been able to stay married a little bit longer if I had simply understood that I needed two TVs.
Okay.
Oh, that's a message there. I don't know if y'all
Now
heard
this
that.
one is a little bit dirty, right?
Okay.
When we make love,
Okay, we already know that. But look, with PG though, with PG, with PG.
You love the kids. You put in your fingers in your ear.
no, PG.
I already know what you're about to say. But I like it. Okay, go ahead.
Keep in mind, my mentor is Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
So I'm 75.
I understand. I ain't back in there. I like that.
I can get jiggy with it.
Hope y'all ready for this episode. Hope you ready for this
episode. Y'all is not gonna be ready for this right here. No sir.
So while I was married, when it was time to make love, you know, she liked to be on top, and then I had to get on the bottom. Okay. So when my marriage ended, the next lady I was with, I laid down and on my legs.
Y'all wasn't ready for this part. So we're gonna go to the next question. We're gonna go to the next.
No.
Okay. We'll come to the message. We come to the message. We got to the message.
You know, we keep it
We
raw.
just barbershop.
We keep it raw. I like what you're doing.
But look,
I like what you're doing.
because see, at the end of the day, he got this broadcast that he probably ain't making no money from.
That's right.
Well, the shit I talk, I'm gonna show him how to get paid for.
I know that's right.
Okay,
That's what I think.
so go on.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? I got some mentorship right here. Never be afraid to get a mentor.
I'm gonna show you how to get paid for it.
I'm on your heels. I'm on your heels, brother. I'm on his heels now. I'm on his heels.
I can imagine what he got to say. He coming up next.
A few more years from now, you'll think your last name is Harvey, like Steve Harvey.
Yes, right. Oh wow, this is awesome. This is great.
No, he got to answer the same question though.
He got to answer the same question.
He got to answer the same question. You remember what the question was?
Well, he already answered, I think.
Oh, he already answered. Okay.
He answered first, yeah. All right, so we're gonna go to the next question. This is great. So, well, I guess you kind of pretty much already answered this, but and since we stay true to the whole barber college or barber school or school format, we'll start with one question. Was what was tell us about your school experience and what was your biggest takeaway if you can remember anything from school, hair school, barber school?
Good or bad?
Good or bad?
Good or bad?
The biggest takeaway from school.
My biggest takeaway?
We would prefer both, like a good one and a bad one. Like,
Oh man, you know, it's just 2 minutes and then let me see if I can tell you at least two. One is in beauty school. I remember in New York, I had this little white lady. She only had about 6 strands of hair, and I had to do a cold wave on it.
a cold one?
Yeah, a cold wave on it. And you know, I started on it one day, and she had to come back the next day for me to finish it. The whole beauty service went for $6. So I said to myself, ain't no way in the hell I'm gonna make no money in this business.
Right.
Okay, so that was a major thing to try to make me figure out how can you really make money if you started off and it takes you 2 days
To make $6.
to do one service for $6.
Right.
You know, and then another experience was I was apprenticed right out of beauty school. It was my first, not my first, but I went into the salon as the relaxer tech. But since I went to school in New York, I was cocky, I was arrogant, I thought that I was the man, you know. So I went in this salon in Baltimore, and the salon was banging, man. I mean, traffic coming in and out, people everywhere. Lady came back for me to do her touch-up relaxer. She had all blonde hair and 1.5 inches of new growth, okay? And with me, so I jumped right into it. I put the relaxer in there, combed it through, took it to the bowl, and time I put the water on it, the bowl began to get clogged up, the soap began to build up. Okay, and I had to dig my hands there to pull out the hair and throw it in the trash can to get the water down. And the lady came in with about 20 inches of hair, and by the time I finished, she had 1.5 inches with a 1/4 inch of blonde up on the tips. Okay, and I'm on out of beauty school 6 months, right?
Right.
So I put the treatment on her hair. I slipped the plastic bag on her hair. Didn't tell nobody what was going on. I put it on the dry for 15 minutes. Told everybody I was going to lunch, and I stayed for 2 days.
Wherever this lady's at, we apologize in advance.
But for the students though, like seriously, just about what you did. You said you was out of school for 6 months. It was your first time doing it on the lady, and I know you're probably nervous or whatever, right? What do you think that happened that took out the hair? You said it was blonde. Is it because she got a highlight, and you put the chemicals in there, and that's what made it? Was it on too long? Like what you think?
Well, the hairdresser, I'm the relaxer tech.
Okay.
But I was cocky. Okay, I thought, you know, understand?
Oh, so you was just
Sometimes,
doing relaxer. So the hairdresser, once you finish doing the relaxer, you give it back to the hairstylist, and then she gonna updo it.
but they were teaching me a lesson.
Okay.
Because they had already consulted with her and told her she was going to lose that hair.
Oh, they were teaching you a lesson.
Oh, yeah.
So they did it. They did it out of. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So-
I'm with you now.
So
okay.
that made me humble
Right.
and loving and caring for the rest of my life.
That's good.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes our lessons come hard.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, that you have to say, let's slow your roll a little bit.
Right.
You know what? You're not above nobody.
They humbled you.
Okay, because there's so much knowledge in this game.
Yeah.
Everything about guys, we are involved in a professional game.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
can
sir.
OD on positivity.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes you have to slow up and say, you know what? Let me back up a little bit. You know, the biggest and the baddest, and
Right.
do this and do that. It's like, no, it's about that calculator.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand the calculator, you think it's about who the baddest haircut,
Right.
you know, who do the baddest weave.
Right.
It ain't that. It's how well you understand the bank and the calculator.
They calculate.
The business side of
Okay,
it.
that's it.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you get that down, that's why I opened 120 salons.
Yeah.
Okay. Back in the 80s, I was franchising my name.
Nice.
Okay. You can pay me $50 a week. I had some people pay me $50 a week. I had some people that were paying me $1,000 a week. It depends on how much I gave them from the name.
In the 80s.
Okay. That's back in the 80s. Back in the 80s. Okay. First Rolls Royce at 30 years old. 5 in my lifetime. 7 yachts.
Come on now.
Home in
Talk to-
Las Vegas.
Come on now.
Okay. Home in Ormond Beach, Florida. Okay. Home in Richmond, Virginia. It's like, you know what? I'm looking at these kids today, man. They're walking around with 1 million likes and they think they the shit.
Right.
We're gonna come to that. We're gonna come to that. We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come to that. Hold on. We're gonna hold on. We're gonna come to that. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna come back to that. So
Oh man, it was,
your school
it was
takeaway.
crazy. One of my school biggest takeaways. It was crazy.
Good and bad.
So, okay, what's a mixture of both?
Okay, Mr.
So it's a
Bo.
mixture
Okay.
of both.
Okay.
So we had this big competition that the school was hosting, right? I mean, you had all the top salon owners from all around the whole tri-city state, everywhere coming in, right? Huge competition. And you had a lot of the students there. I mean, they were great. I mean, really great. I mean,
Right.
they was on a professional level, just didn't have a license.
Right.
And this was a really huge deal. This is this extravaganza that the school put on. Now, in school, I wasn't great at all.
Okay.
Bookwork, I could do it. but
Right.
I had all thumbs, couldn't do my hair right.
Okay.
So, you know, everybody's showing up. So, you know, my grandmother decided that she wanted to come up to the competition, all right? And I knew I could get support me. I know you can't lose in front of your grandmother, right? So I took my mannequin down to the salon and it's Cosmopolitan. Lady named B Crush. She goes out in there, I tell her everything was going on. She said, "Oh, babe, just leave the mannequin right there. I just wanted some help,
Right.
you know, just so to tell her, you know, just want help, just so I can look decent, right?"
Right.
So she said, "Babe, just leave the mannequin right there. We'll take care of it." And just see. So I leave. I come back at the mannequin. I look, man, it was cut, man, almost like this lopsided, asymmetrical cut, color, everything. I said, "Wow,
Looking good.
looking good, right? Feel good." So man, I went and put that mannequin on the mantelpiece that night. I'm waking up at night making sure it's gonna stay in place.
Right.
So I get to the school school and everything. Walk up there, I sneak the mannequin in, put my number up there and everything. So we going and everything going on. Everybody's sitting there socializing. And then all of a sudden it's time for the big competition.
Right.
So they start calling out the winners, my grandma there and everything. I'm looking. I said, well, shit, if I just get third place, I just be
Oh, so you still so you being humble with
You take third.
So it was a girl named by the name of Candace. Everybody knew she was going to win, right? So they called third place. This girl, she wins third place. So everybody getting all excited.
Candace?
Yeah, no, Candace didn't get third.
Oh, okay.
So all of a sudden, when they called third place, I said, oh, that's it. I blew it. I said, I ain't going to get anything. I'm looking back. I'm over to one side. My grandma over there. I said, I got to drive home. I said, this ain't going to be good. So then they called second place. So second place was number 3. That was Candace. That was her number. And everybody looked like, everybody in the whole school was like, oh, you know, because everybody knew she was going to win. She was the fan favorite. All of a sudden, they look and they said, first place. My number was 8. They said number 8. I jumped up. I said 8. I said, oh, that's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. But here's the thing, though. But here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm still thinking it was third place. It was for first place.
Yeah, you were the same.
That's what my mind was. I'm still thinking third, but it was first.
Right.
So man, they come in, everybody clapping loud. All of a sudden, they roll this big trophy out and everything. I'm looking at my grandma. She just, man, see the tears. She just all happy. I'm looking, and I looked over there at all my classmates and teachers. And man, the looks could kill. I said, I'm dead. I said, because everybody knew you didn't do that hair. You came in and you hijacked the competition. You hijacked the competition. But here's what's good came out of it.
Okay, well, yeah.
You get this big trophy, and you get a ticket to go to the show in Crystal City. So in Crystal City, they had the Fashion Focus show for Davidson. Davidson was a big, huge distributor for Paul Mitchell. So there, something good turned out, and that's why I met Floyd Kenyatta. And so here's a great thing about Floyd. I gotta tell you, this is so good.
Okay,
I
go
didn't know
ahead.
who Floyd was, right?
Okay.
So all of a sudden, man, you just see this crowd. Man, I thought a fight or something was happening, right? But you know, so this crowd just shift, All of a sudden, somebody come walking through the crowd, neat coat on, shades, dragging the ground. I said, damn, ain't nobody say Barry White was gonna be here. So he coming through the crowd like the Pied Piper. Man, everybody grabbed him. I said, who is that? I said, that's somebody I had to meet. I said,
Right.
So we had a short, brief meeting because it was a shake hand and thing about Floyd. You know, I got to say, listen, we ain't talking about the dollar. They ain't making no sense, right?
There it
so
is.
all the shaking hand, it was like, yeah. So anyway, from that point, I had connected with Paul Mitchell. And it was Brandon. I reconnected with Floyd Kenyatta, man. At that point, he had took me up under his wing. I guess I bugged him so much, I stuck to him like, he said, man, let me help this guy.
But a closed mouth don't get fed.
But here it closed mouth don't get fed.
You know what I'm
so
saying?
man, when he took me up under his wing, I said it was no looking back. But how that ended up happening, it was one day we was at a Warner Brothers show. I see Floyd again, her I come running. I said, man, I'm still going to speak to him. So Floyd coming through the crowd, big huge entourage. I said, I'm just going to go up and speak. I said, hey Floyd, what's going on? How everything going? He said, hey, he says, man, you got your tools with you? I said, yeah, what do you need? He said, you got a tripod, you got a mannequin? I said, yeah. He said, man, meet me in room 308. I said, okay. So I run to the car, man. I go out there, and I had my tripod, mannequins, everything in the car. Come back up, see Floyd. He said, hey, I got this comb we're going to talk about. It's a geodesic comb. It's a curved comb. He said, I'm going to get in here. I'm going to talk the business.
What year? Not to cut you off. What year is this?
This was, I think, it was about, what, 2008? 2000, right around 2000.
Yeah, at least.
About 2007, 8, about 2007, 8. Yeah.
Okay.
So, it is curved comb, right? So I get in there and Floyd said, I'm going to talk about a little business. I want you to go ahead and talk about the comb. So I get in there, man, we up on stage and he introduced me, gave me this big introduction room, packed. So I go in there, I started talking about the comb. By that time, I'm seasoned, I'm educated, right? So I got the comb. I said, man, we're taking the diagonal back section and we're going to go ahead and pull this forward. We're going to create the round shape. We're going to do the concave, convex, and I'm just going all off this comb, right? And that's the first time I've seen the comb. I'm going along with it, right? So, man, next thing you know, Floyd sit up there. He said, after everything was over, he sat up there. He said, man, that was good. He said, that was good. He said, man, where did you learn all that? I said, watching your videos. I said, watching your videos. So from that point on, what made it so awesome, he had this association. It was called the BAR, B-A-R. It was the Beauty Artistic. Beauty Artist Revelation.
Yeah,
the
Beauty Artist Revelation.
The bar was called the Global Bar. Beauty Artist Revelation.
Wow.
And from that point, he made me an ambassador. And he had my picture and this big, huge flyer and everything posted on social media. And man, it felt like I was meeting myself for the first time.
Man.
Then from that point, he took me all over the globe. He said, man, you got to get global, you're too local. So we went to China, we went to Hong Kong, man, we went all over the world, Thailand.
Man, this is a book, man. This is a book right here,
Yeah.
man. What are you talking about, man?
So this is
But it all stems back when you talk about a beauty school experience. Now, if I hadn't hijacked that competition,
Right.
I would be sitting here right here now.
Right.
awesome.
Man, that's good, man.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
So that's my
yeah,
story.
that's so exciting and that's so great to hear because that's just a we get into the space of the things that we can do. I mean, it's limitless. What we can
Yeah,
do,
it
right?
is.
You know?
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
So y'all asked. Well, the other question would be some funny story, but we already heard some good stories already.
Yeah,
so
that
let's go to the
was-
next
that was
one.
great.
So Sarge, your question like
Oh,
that.
all right. Question I'd like to ask y'all, for both of y'all. Right now, looking at yourself in school, what would you tell your student self right now, with all the knowledge that you got, all the information, everything that you're going to acquire right now from being in this field? What advice would you give your student self now?
From now.
From now, like then, if your student self, like now, what you know right now, what would you give your student? What advice would you give your student self?
I would probably say, as soon as you graduate from school, leave the United States and go to China.
Wow.
Come on now.
Yes.
Hold on, can you elaborate on that a little bit though?
Okay. Well, the reason why I say leave the United States and go to China, because the great thing about China is so far advanced. So versus just sitting and having a local mindset, you have a global mindset.
Gotcha.
Then from China, then you want to go to Macau, then you want to go to Thailand, then you want to go to Singapore because you want to get advanced. So then what happens once you get all of the education and the knowledge and advancement, your eyes are peek through the tent, when you come back here, your value is $1 million photo.
Boom.
Because guess what? You have information.
your resume is
your
right.
resume is stacked.
And then the exposure.
It's exposure. The resume is stacked.
Different cultures.
Different cultures. So now your price, now what you have, what you call a leverage point.
Right.
So when brands come at you now and
You got some leverage.
You got leverage point. I said because whoever
like
you hire can't touch me because they don't know what I know.
I love
and
it.
I know what I can do for
I
your
love
brand
it.
because I've seen what you have and said.
But and
I love it.
the key part to that part that he mentioned is the discipline. Okay, because they really come from a communist influence, and here you get lost in the sauce before you even get out of school,
Right.
because you have no structure, no discipline from the time you
Right.
get out.
Right.
Okay. I have tears to run down my eyes when I look at the entire beauty industry today.
Well, hold on. We coming to that. I promise we get. So now you answer.
In about 10 more minutes, I'm giving you an invoice. Okay.
We know this is an honor right now. We trying to get as much as we get from you before you go.
Let me let
So
Mr. Floyd
now
know.
you can answer that question.
We ain't
Guys,
broke either now. If you want to send that invoice, now we ain't broke.
I'm a cheap date. There's a chicken up there. All right.
So same question.
Yeah, same question to you.
Same
What,
question.
what would you tell your
Same
student self, like right now, without the information acquired that you know, and all the 70, or not 75 years, but over what, 50 years, over 50 years in this?
Well, basically, with me, with students.
What would you tell?
What would you tell
What would you
yourself,
tell
your
yourself?
student self?
Oh, myself.
Like when you
Well-
first started, like what would you tell your student self now without the information that you know?
I would tell myself that I did everything right.
I know that's right.
That I did everything
You did
right.
everything right.
Okay, because when I came out, what I seek was continuous education.
Right.
Okay, what I did not go to the salon that paid the highest commission. Okay, this is business. The calculator's the boss.
Right,
Okay, everybody would say, oh, I'm gonna work over here. They paying 50, 60, 70% commission. I went to the people who paid 30% commission. Because common sense tell you that if people 60, 70% commission, your system not working right because you ain't making no profit.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You're not making no profit.
Right.
Okay? If you attach yourself to an organization that their structure is so corporate, so percentage wise, then you can calculate that they are making money. So although I'm taking a step below and
Right.
backwards, I'm learning percentages.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And that's where they miss out at. Okay? So by me being in the position to actually say, the salon over here paying 30, 35%, the one over here paying 70%. Most people do not know that average net profit for a beauty salon is only 5 to 6%. The average person even today don't realize how much money each chair is supposed to produce in that salon.
Right.
30 years ago, if that chair didn't produce $1,000 to $1,500, I'd get rid of the hairdresser that worked for me. That was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hair did not just become silky.
Right.
Hair just didn't become straight.
Right.
Okay. I'm looking at people now who think they are the shit because they making $2,000 a week.
A week.
Okay. I had 19 years old making $2,000 a week in 1980. In 1980. Okay.
We talk about the 80s prices too on top of that.
yeah.
Hope y'all hear that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's almost like you're not an icon if you ain't close to 100 years old.
No, that's right.
There's no such thing as a 35-year-old icon.
Correct.
Do you see what
I
I'm
get
saying?
you. I get you.
If you understand history, you understand revelations. Okay. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay. You don't have to. All of it is simple. It's almost like I can lay back and look at Netflix and do things over and over and over again. I made more money during COVID than I did before COVID.
Wow.
Okay, and I couldn't travel for 3 years. My first trip in 3 years, this Thursday, I go to Korea, I leave Korea, I go to Hong Kong, I go to Macau, I go to Singapore, then I go to Thailand and China. Okay, I'll be on the road for 30 days. Okay, when COVID hit, my team was already in position in every one of those countries.
Wow.
Because I have invested 30 years building a global team.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
There's an event. It's called the Alternative Hair Show. The Alternative Hair Show has been around now for maybe 30-some years.
I've seen it online.
Okay.
I've seen it
Alternative
online.
hair show.
The Alternative Hair Show. The best hairdressers in the world come to London and they perform for 3 minutes to 5 minutes on stage to 5,000 hairdressers.
3 to 5 minutes.
Your presentation is 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. It's held at the Royal Albert Hall in London, England. Okay. In 35 years, I'm the only black hairdresser ever been on that stage.
Wow.
In 35 years.
35 years.
And today, I look around, I see the guys here competing to get this trophy, to get that trophy, and I'm looking at them like, hey, listen, if you're so bad,
Right.
go to the alternative.
Right.
Go on that stage.
Yeah.
Go on that stage next to the Sassoons, the Urban Russ, the Tony, the biggest names in the world is there. Go and represent.
That's it, yeah.
I welcome that, and I will endorse you if you think you're that bad. I will endorse you to go there. But here's what separates the man from the boys. You don't get $1 for going. It costs you $15,000 out of your pocket
To
do
enter?
Yes, because it's a benefit for leukemia research.
Okay.
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 It's a benefit. For a 2.5-hour presentation, those white boys raised $400,000 every year for 35 years. Okay, so understanding what's happening on the global platform.
Right.
Okay, the top salons in China, like Aubrey said,
Yeah.
when they open up in the morning, it's just like the department stores. You're there on time.
Right.
You lined up like soldiers.
Right.
When the customer walk in, you applaud and you bow as they walk in. That's discipline.
Yes,
We
customer
have no
service too.
We have no
Yes.
discipline.
Yes.
We have no system.
No,
They're
right.
lost.
Right.
Okay. So one of the best things that I did was travel to understand geographic, to understand structure. Nobody's gonna come to you and tell you you're great.
Right.
Nobody will come to Aubrey and tell him that he is great.
Right.
You have to be evaluated. Okay, I evaluated myself. You evaluate yourself by spending the money. I went to every country I could find so I could look for the best, baddest black hairdresser in that country. And then I compared myself to them.
Right.
I went to London and did it. I went to Paris and did it. I went to Africa and did it. My message was who the baddest black
best over
hairdresser. I want to
I
see
wanna
it.
go see it.
I want to see the shop.
That's what I'm
I want
talking
to see what they wear.
Right.
I want to see what they smell like.
Right.
I
How
want-
they act, how they treat the customers, all that.
I want to see what the teeth look like.
Right.
I know that.
Okay? Because you're evaluating yourself. Okay? You can't be the man with funky breath.
Right.
You can't be the man with bad teeth.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Right.
So you have to get your game together.
Man.
Okay, to create an image.
Man.
Okay?
Man.
I look today and they said, this guy is doing this guy's doing that. I said, how many square footage is his empire?
Right. Right.
That's what I want to
That'll
know.
shut them up quick
You
too.
got a 10 by 10, you got
Right.
10,000, you got 100,000.
Right.
If you don't have the square footage, I'm not hearing it. I'm not impressed.
Right. Right.
I'm not impressed.
Gotta have the
Real
square
talk.
footage.
Okay.
Man, that's deep.
Okay.
That's deep. That's
Okay.
deep right there. man.
Because that's what the bank respect.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You can't go to the bank with your 1 million followers.
Right.
You
Right.
go to the bank, let's see your square footage.
And there's one thing that y'all talking about, both of y'all spoke about it, man. Like, and I'm gonna be honest, like I haven't even tapped into that. Y'all talking globally. I'm thinking United States.
No.
Y'all talking globally.
No.
So now that's what I got to put into my students because I ain't even have that in me. So y'all just put that in me. Y'all thinking globally. I haven't been thinking
No, you
globally. I
got
was just
to.
thinking the United States.
But
So
here-
you got to think globally.
But see, here's the deal. Let's say you go to a trade show in America. Okay, so in June 3rd, you have the Orlando show in Orlando, right? 65,000 hairdressers, right? 65,000 hairdressers coming to that show to see what's new and fresh. So that means whatever you went there and found, you don't have no niche.
Right.
Another 65,000 saw that in one show.
Right.
So the only way you can be ahead of the game is go to the other side of the world.
Right.
That's right.
If you understand that Asia is 12 to 13 hours ahead of us, they will always be ahead of us.
Right.
They will always be ahead of us.
Yeah.
And by my foothold being there, I will always be ahead of you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg said, by the time you figure out what to do with it, I'll be done with it.
Hey, that is cool.
I love it.
Man, I love
Alright,
it,
so,
man.
It's easy.
so just the last few more questions. I know you're a busy man and everything, but couple of questions. Then we're gonna implement your.
Look, we don't. I was playing about the invoice. I want you to invoice.
No, I'm gonna invoice him. That ain't no good.
Now, we got a couple questions. Then I got a little segment I do with a question.
Yeah.
For y'all too.
So, and now we're speaking of, and this kind of a side note. I know you're speaking over in the UK and London and stuff like that. I follow a gentleman, Chris Foster. I know he does very well over there. You familiar with him at all?
I heard the name. I
Yeah,
can't put the
yeah.
face together right
Okay.
now.
So, all right. So, for both of y'all, what is your thoughts or opinions of the industry today, and where do you think the industry is headed? And I know you're global. Because you can answer that however you want,
That's for both of
globally
y'all.
or
That's for both of y'all.
in the United States or whatever. You can answer either way you would like.
Well, you know, I think the first thing is, can you guys identify what's wrong with it? Number one. Now, if you can identify what's wrong with it, I can tell you how to fix it. Now, if I'm supposed to tell you what's wrong with it and tell you how to fix it,
That's gonna be it.
I like your style. I like your style. I like your style. That's good. I like your
it's like,
style.
I don't know if I can tell you that much.
So because you had kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, that's what I'm saying. What are your thoughts? You see the issues or challenges you see happening and from your
Well,
opinion in the
okay,
industry.
let me-
I mean,
okay.
'cause you were talking about it a little bit earlier.
Well, I can hit.
Yeah.
I can. It's really a no-brainer because when you look at booth rentals, suite rentals was started 1982, 83, when they had the first suite rental.
Yeah.
The person that started it, I trained her.
Wow.
Okay.
History. I hear this.
Okay.
Well, we got some exclusive on underrated profession right
The
here.
first salon suite in America was started with someone that I trained.
Wow.
Her name is Shirley Nelson. She lives in Washington, D.C. She whiter than white. She got gray eyes, but she cold-blooded nigga.
She come She cold-blooded.
Yeah. Okay. And she joined forces with the hair cuttery, Dennis and Gary Ratner.
Okay.
They own 1,200 salons, and they decided to. She went and joined forces with them because I was strong during the Jerry curl boom.
Okay.
So when the Jerry curl died,
Right.
I was bankrupt into 12 locations. I had to bankrupt because I was making most of my money from the Jerry curls.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so with our location, she had like 12 locations with me at that time, and she joined forces with them, and they created Salon Plaza.
Was that up on the Regis? You know,
No,
it wasn't
that's
up
a
on
separate.
the
That's a separate.
Okay.
So that was the beginning of the suite thing. So today, from what I calculate today, hairdressers lost foot in the beauty industry because contractors, builders, developers, instead of doing houses and plazas, they decided to do salons. So now all the I calculate over 60,000 hairdressers that rent suites. That rent suites.
Now I
The
remember.
money-
I remember a time. And you can correct me on this. I know you because you got some. You will be able to clarify some things, the questions that I used to have. But I was always under the impression years ago. I've been cutting since '93, right? But back in the day, it was like if you had a suite, that meant you was hanging it up. Like you was retiring or you was trying to, it's different today. But I remember
you was on your way out.
You was on your way out of the career. Would you say that was
You know
a
what?
correct assessment?
They're on the way out and they don't know it. Okay. The reason why, because if you have a suite, and no disrespect,
Right. I understand.
no disrespect.
Yeah.
I look at a beauty school instructor as someone that don't have the tolerance to run a salon anymore.
Right.
The headaches, the issues, it's an easy way out.
Right.
Let me go deal with these dumb students. They don't know nothing. They don't cause no problem.
Yeah.
I can get them to the state board.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that's an easy way out. Running a salon, and you got workman's comp. You got inventory. You got the same issues of any corporation, and you take the easy way and say, I'm just gonna rent a suite, I'm gonna rent a booth because I cannot handle all that pressure to run that business properly. Okay, so that means that you don't have people necessarily working for you. You're a force of one.
Right.
Okay. I don't have much respect for lawyers. I don't have much respect for doctors. You know why?
Why?
Because if they don't go to work, they ain't making no money.
Right.
Okay? I like people who wake up in the morning and say, how much money I got that came to their bank account. Okay? If you're not making some money when you're sleeping, if you don't have people making money for you, there's something wrong with what you're doing. Okay? My accountant, the lady that trained me, the lady told me she was a customer. And she saw me commuting from North Carolina to Columbia, Maryland to New York. I would do her hair. I remember working in North Carolina till 1 o'clock in the morning. I drove to Columbia, Maryland. I was so tired and sleepy. I went in the salon, straight to the salon. I was doing her hair. I fell asleep and slobbered in her hair.
Oh, man.
Okay. She looked at me and she shook her head. And she said, you the hardest working country boy I ever seen in my life. And she said, she coming Floyd.
Flow.
She said, I'm gonna make you a millionaire. And I'm like, shit.
Right.
Okay. And she did.
And she did.
Yeah, because she taught me, she said her and her husband, she was an RN. Her husband was a psychologist at Georgetown University.
Wow.
They owned 2 medical centers called AFA. One medical center had 35 doctors. Another one had 29 doctors. They worked on commission just like the beauty shop. So they owned the medical center, and the doctors came in and worked for them on percentage.
Commission.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just like a beauty shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, the light bulb went off in my head. It's like, you don't have to be an attorney to own the law firm.
Right.
You don't have to be a doctor to own the medical center.
Right.
So you ask me what I see wrong in the industry.
What?
I don't see our people, the future professionals. I don't see none of them that know nothing about business. I don't see nothing being taught in no beauty school about understand the dialogue of real estate. Okay, you can talk to anybody. And you say, what is CAM? CAM. I can say, I have 5,000 people in the room. I said, what is TI money? Oh, that's the rapper down in Atlanta. I said, no, TI money is tenant improvement. Okay, CAM, common area maintenance. If you're going on a plaza or shopping center and you don't understand CAM, they look at you as a joke from the time you come to ask for the location. If you don't understand that what a vanilla box is, okay? But people, oh yeah, that's a box of vanilla wafers, maybe. Okay, no, vanilla box is the way they deliver the space to you in a plaza with nothing in it but the floor, the walls, the ceiling, and sheetrock. If the sheetrock is not painted, it's a vanilla box. Okay,
Gotcha.
what's a cold dark shell? Okay, a cold dark shell is a plaza square that the walls have not been divided for the East Store. Cold dark shell. That should be taught in beauty school.
It should.
That'd be gems being dropped right now.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so how can you grow to be an entrepreneur, to be a millionaire, to be rich, and you can't even use the proper dialogue in talking to a realtor? From the time the black person have a conversation with a realtor and they don't understand CAM, you know what they do? They ask for your financial statement to see if you have enough money for them to sue you when you fail. That's the purpose of the list.
That's their game, huh?
That's the
Anybody
purpose.
their
to sue you before you fail.
Yeah. That's the purpose of it.
Right.
To see if you qualify for us to sue you because you will not make it. Because you don't know what you're doing.
Don't know what you're doing.
Man, that's big. That's
big.
big. That was man, what you just dropped right there.
Okay, just the beginning of it. Now, when I did Mandalay Bay, and they flew me in, and they said, we're Circus Development. We own Circus. We own Monte Carlo. We own New York. We own the Luxor Hotel. We're building the Mandalay Bay. And they said, we want the #1 salon in Las Vegas. They said, right now we're competing with Caesar Palace. Jose Bear is the top dog in Caesar Palace. We want Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell don't do salons. The distributor in Nevada told them, Paul Mitchell don't do salon. You can't get Paul Mitchell to do a salon. They'll be competing with their customers if they did a salon. They called me, they said, Mr. Kenyatta, we heard you the only man that could get Paul Mitchell's salon in the hotel. And I laughed. I said, who told you that? They said the distributor. And I said, so what you're offering? They said, we'll fly you out here first class. We'll have the limo to pick you up. We'll give you the presidential suite. I said, can I get chicken with that? They said, you can get anything you want. I flew out there. We went, they gave me the suite. The next day, we went to the construction site. They were 18 months before they finished building it out. In hotels and resorts, if you find a salon, it's in a hallway around the corner, an undesirable location. I said, the first thing is, can I get prime? They said, you can get any location you want. Well, at the Mandalay Bay, most of y'all been to Vegas, they have the lobby, they have the lower lobby. The lower lobby, you can go out to the beach, the pool, and all that stuff. They had 6 locations in front of that door. I got the location right at the center of that door that was vacant.
Prime.
Not only that, I said, what kind of TI money can they give you? Can you give me?
Right.
It blew my mind. They gave me $291,000.
T.I. money.
TI money. Not the rapper and all that.
Right. The T.I. money.
T.I. money.
Like, yeah.
Okay, from the TI money they gave me, I said, wow. I said, okay. What people don't realize about business is, if you the tenant and it's a landlord, it's a marriage.
Yeah.
It's a marriage.
That's the marriage.
And you partners.
Right.
And the same thing with the bank.
Right.
So you have to know what to ask for, what to go out. You know? So I said, wait a minute. How many rooms did this hotel, Mandalay Bay? They said 4,000 rooms. And they said Four Seasons Hotel have another 400 rooms. Okay? And I was like, wow. And I said, your company, Circus Development, and you built the hotel? They said, yes. So you're the developer? They said, yes. So you're the owner of the hotel and you're the developer, and you're gonna give me $291,000 build out money for this salon. With my experience, I said that means the salon gonna cost $600,000. So the $291,000 that they gave me to build out the salon, I took the money and gave it back to them and said, I want you to build the salon for me.
Since they were the builders.
See the builder.
Right. You're the builder. Right. Why
Now,
not? Right.
you got House of Blues, you got Wolfgang Puck, you got all of these
Right there, so
high end that you have partnered with them because you wanted the best business at your complex.
Right.
And what year this was roughly?
1989.
89, okay.
Okay, so they gave me $291,000. I gave it back to them, and then I started negotiating. They said, I said, how much is the rent? They said $5,000 a month rent. I said, I ain't gonna pay that.
Right.
Okay. They said, well, what are you willing to pay? I said, I'm not willing to pay 0 base rent. I said, I would pay you percentage rent. If you understand the beauty industry, then you understand that every dollar coming to the salon, percentages are allocated on how much you should be paying.
Right.
You just don't pay whatever you want to pay.
Right.
Everything is a formula.
It's a formula. Right.
It's a formula.
Right.
If you don't know the formula, then you are making a mistake to even come into this business and call yourself a salon owner and you know no formula.
Right.
Okay, a good example is T&E, travel and entertainment. How much money can you spend out of every $100 of T&E? 0.5%. Okay, insurance. How much money can you pay for insurance? 0.5%. Okay, how much money can you pay for supplies?
Supplies.
Okay, for payroll, everything. And if you have the formula, you are lucky to get 5 to 6% net profit. You can make more money out of newspapers, selling newspapers, than you can make out of a salon. If you have a formula that you can make 23 to 20% net profit, then not just good, you have the perfect formula for a franchise.
So 20 to 23%.
Yeah, okay, because the average is 5-6%.
Right.
Okay, so that's why you have to know.
Right.
That's why the calculator is the boss.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Right.
yeah.
I evaluate people for, people who out there think they're whoever.
Right.
It's like, have you ever been evaluated? It's easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so the new people who coming in, if I could reach them and tell them, I said, you know what, you need to find some money, whether you're new, you've been in the game 5 years, you've been in the game 10 years, you need to be evaluated. Okay, and one thing I will tell you,
Who would you recommend to evaluate them?
I tell you what, if a man ain't never made about $100,000, he couldn't evaluate me. If you you want to make millions, you get somebody to evaluate you help me. It's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Okay.
And then now that evaluation in or out the industry, it doesn't really matter. As long as they make $1 million, they can evaluate.
They can listen.
It doesn't matter about it being in the industry or not. That's all I'm saying. For those that's watching or listening.
Good question, but different levels.
Gotcha.
Because with me, I flew to Miami to get a guy to evaluate me, and he was, well, he's not a hairdresser. He's an attorney. His name was Luis Delgado. And Luis Delgado was an attorney for the cartel.
He sound like it.
Okay, for the cartel.
That name sound like it. That name sound like it.
Okay.
How about that name?
And I'm like, that's what I want to evaluate
It
me.
sound like it, that name. You got time to be playing around.
Yeah. So, but Luis Delgado, good looking, smooth as he could be. His crib looked like the Versace mansion.
Yeah.
Man, in his crib, man, this guy had a theater that could house 30 people in his crib with the panoramic TV about 40 feet long in his crib, you know. And Olympic swimming pool. I spent the night there in the guest house, and the guest house was like the Ritz-Carlton. You know, he took me to lunch, and he said, Florida, have you ever seen my infomercial? The guy's an attorney, but his hairdresser was a guy called Sammy of Miami. Okay, his hairdresser borrowed money, couldn't pay it back, so they did a product line called Sammy of Miami. So the attorney bankrolled the hairdresser.
Right.
They did the product line, and they put it on QVC and HSN. Okay, so he looked at his watch. He said, my commercial is running, my infomercial is running. We got about 5 more minutes. Let's go and take a look at it. We walked a few steps into his office. I looked at the TV. In 1 hour, they did $1 million. In 1 hour. In 1 hour. Okay. That's who I pay money when I run into a wall. Yeah, what I need, because we all have to go to somebody, and it costs. Okay, and I said, Louis, I got this idea. Will you take a look at it with me? I'll go down, and we'll sit down, and he'll tell me what's right, tell me what's wrong, and tell me the next move to make. You know, and my whole life, even back in the 80s, I was tight with Vidal Sassoon. And he had a right-hand man called Don Sullivan. And I remember being with Sassoon at his mansion in LA on top of the mountain, sitting out by the pool, and I was asking him questions just like we chopping it up. Okay. And I asked him, I said, you know, well, what about a brand? What about my name? What about this and that? They looked at me and said, Floyd, your name is your product. It doesn't matter about the shampoo, the conditioner. Your name is the product. Protect the name, keep the name strong, keep the name powerful. If the name is right, you can put it on toilet paper.
Right.
You can. It's all game. It's all game. It's all game.
That was definitely tons of gems.
Tons of gems.
It's all game.
So we about to wrap things up, but we gotta get to you. We didn't forget about you over here. I know. We can't forget about you. So, what's your thoughts on the industry? And what's your thoughts on the industry when you feel like
next in line?
Next in line.
Next in line was, I know Floyd gave you the business side, but I would probably say customer service. Service is really huge. You gotta know how to service guests. And when we talk about servicing guests, it's about understanding people, being open and open-minded and understanding people. The next thing is having the right dialogue. And it's no offense, but if you look at majority of the cosmetology students that's coming out today, they can't give a proper consultation. So if you go in and do the numbers, it's 97% guests that have said they have not had a proper consultation.
97%.
97%. So that means only 3% of our industry right now is giving a real consultation. That's saying. And when we come to talk about consultation, that comes with listening. You gotta know how to listen, repeat back. So if you're doing 60% of the talking and 30% of the listening, you're not doing the consultation.
Right.
And then knowing how to make professional recommendations. That means studying your craft, understanding what the hair needs, identifying challenges, providing solutions, and knowing how to talk to a guest and giving the whys in the house. That's really huge. But it's not their fault. It goes back to school. So, and I'm not down in the cosmetologist schools, but it's a business. We understand it, but you're hiring bodies in there just so students can be able to work under a license, which is unfair because they're not being prepared when they come into the industry. Just like Floyd said, we're talking about business. So you have students don't even know how to have 3 bank accounts. You don't have my savings, the money I'm not going to touch. I'm going to have a business check-in where I'm going to go buy my supplies. I'm going to have my personal check-in where I buy my bills. So if those were 3 elevators with those 3 accounts, if one of those cords get cut, you still have 2. If 2 get cut, you still have 1. So you're not understanding where to place your money and how to go in and increase your value. So I mean, just to keep it, simple and short, that's one of the main things that the industry needs. But the cell phone can't teach you everything. You have
Say that again. Y'all need to listen to this.
Say that again. The cell phone can't teach you everything. I mean, we have this thing out here now called artificial intelligence, right?
The AI. We're using it a little bit right now with the videos.
And here's the thing.
You want to use it as a tool.
I have the AI on my phone, the chat GBT, right? And the thing about the AI, it can finish a college course 4 years in 2 hours. And it's consistent. 4 years in 2 hours.
That's
it's
crazy.
Sharp, right? But here's the thing about artificial intelligence. It can't understand a soul.
No.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Can't understand you.
No, it
So if it
has
can't
no soul.
understand you, how can it direct you?
Right.
Only thing it can do is more so mainstream. So just kind of going back into when we said the cell phone can't teach you everything, it's about having mentors. And that's one of the biggest things I would tell students that's graduating while they're in school. Find you a mentor. Find someone that's doing it big on the global level and do check-ins. Every week, every day, every 3 days, do a check-in. Floyd and I talk every day. Or every other day. Sometimes there is check-ins. I get evaluated.
Well, I got me 2 check-ins and it's recorded. I got 2 check-ins. I got 2 check-ins.
But here's the thing, though. But here's the thing, though. This is what we gotta understand. Your ego is not your amigo. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times when I do check in, it ain't always a pleasant conversation. I get evaluated. And there's certain things that I don't like to hear. It hurts, but pain is growth. And pain always will leave a beautiful gift behind. And I know Floyd ain't coming from a position of hurt, it's coming from a position of help. So a lot of times if you look at it, when you try to instruct someone, hey, do it over, do it this way, your feelings get hurt, get all up in your feelings. And all of a sudden, you got to take certain medication to keep yourself balanced. Back in the day, we had no medication.
Just gotta press through it.
You gotta press through it.
Y'all didn't have no medication. I did.
But just going back, the whole thing is, being open to coaching. That's the main thing. You got to be open to coaching. And the thing about being open to coaching, when someone tells you your challenges, they tell you how to fix it, go fix it. You go fix it. Because one thing that the worst, just 2 diseases, the worst, what the worst 2 diseases are in life?
What is it?
The worst 2, I'll take a guess.
What? Greed? No.
Number
Diseases?
1,
Diseases.
regrets.
Regrets.
Yeah, regret.
I have that.
regret. And then the next one is aging.
I don't got that either. Because
here's the thing, we all gonna age, we oxidizing every day, And the worst thing that we can sit up here and do is have regrets. So that's why it's very important to sit up here, seek knowledge, get everything first, and then once you get to a certain point, like take all that knowledge that you have and start making it applicable and start using it. And one of the most valuable things besides the calculator is information. So the more information that you have, the more valuable you are, and that way you can get to the money. Now imagine you have all the money, but you don't have no information.
Then what? You're gonna be stuck still.
You're just
like a dog chasing his tail. Right there. You ain't going nowhere.
Because you ain't going with hamster and wheel.
Right.
So that's my whole point.
Man.
Well, wow, that's awesome. First of all, we know a quick. Some of y'all was here.
I forgot.
Who remember CAM? What CAM meant? Anybody remember what CAM means? We just talk about listening. Anybody remember what Canyon meant?
People was out there. I was so in the zone. I ain't even know the people.
Well, y'all want to think
Common
area maintenance.
And the TI.
Alright, and the TI.
Improvement.
And so what they like to...
In the dark, what you got the dark
Cold dark shell.
cold dark shell, and then that was
white
box.
They don't got and then
Vanilla box.
and the vanilla box. Yes.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
with that being said, one thing I like to brag about our, I don't do too much bragging, but I like to brag about our program. We like to title our program being the first business school of barbering. So we don't only want to teach you how to cut good hair, but run a good business. So it's a shameless plug. Y'all already know we got a barber and beauty at Wait Tech we got coming up. We're partnering with Fifth Third Bank, doing some giving startup tips and business knowledge and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna make sure I'll leave it in the down in the show notes as well.
Can I do my little?
So then now, so we'll go to the segment here to the end
little
the
segment,
segment. We do the spin the wheel here. This is what he added here. He's chopping it up.
I'm chopping it up. So I want y'all to spin the wheel one time, and then I'm gonna ask y'all the question, and y'all give it to me in your own. In your own. All right, Skip. I hear 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this purple one right here. All right. Would you rather be loved or feared, and why?
Would I rather be loved or feared?
And why?
In your own words.
In your own words.
We're gonna let you spin your own. So let's spin your own.
Yeah, you got to spin your own
Would
question.
I rather be loved or feared? That's like a trick.
Be real with me now.
I'm gonna be real.
No matter of fact,
No,
before we each spin, y'all both got to answer each spin.
Okay. You answer each spin, then when he spin, he answer too. Okay.
Will I be loved and feared? It's a trick question.
Okay.
Because see, remember, I've been married 4 times.
Okay.
Okay. So my output on love is tell me you love me. I like to hear it. I don't care if you mean it or not.
Right.
That's my output on love.
Okay.
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 My output on fear is good because don't come to my house, don't come down my road because I want to be left alone.
Okay.
So it's almost like it's a love and hate question anyway.
Anyway.
Okay?
Right.
It's like show me love whether you mean it or not.
Right.
Okay. Because that's fine.
That's it.
Okay.
It ain't no right or wrong answer. It's your perspective.
That's my perspective.
Right.
The fear is disrespecting my space. Okay, if you're invading my space, I would rather you to fear me than invade me.
You gonna fear me now. You gonna fear me. You gonna fear me now. You invade my space now. That's a whole nother story. You gonna fear me.
Yeah.
You don't want to love me then.
Well,
You
you know,
invade my space.
your time to pop up unannounced, to force yourself on, all of that is like, if you fear me being angry or whatever, then fear me and love me.
All right, take that. All right.
Okay, me, I'm gonna go with fear. I'd rather be feared.
Okay, why?
The reason why I'd rather be feared, because just like what was mentioned earlier, people will not disrespect your space. They'll think twice before they disrespect your
Miss Patty
space.
said that earlier.
But people that love you, sometimes they feel as though they can hurt you, and they think you'll get
It
over
can be
it.
right.
And you'll get over it, and you'll move past it. So they think they have a little bit more of an advantage.
Right.
To take advantage.
Right.
So I'd rather be feared.
Okay, cool. All right.
And like Tina Turner said, who needs a heart when the heart can be broken?
That's right. That's
What
right.
love got to do with it?
It's your spin now. It's your spin now.
All right, what we got?
Okay.
We got a big one there.
All right, here we go. Would you rather have someone cook you fish, or would you want them to teach you how to fish?
He kind of answered that. He already kind of answered that.
But they already know. They kind of answered
They
that.
answered that one. He's trying to give him a...
Yeah. We're gonna spin again.
Let's spin again. They already got to answer.
Because I know y'all want to teach how to fish.
Go
Okay.
back one.
Go back.
Is that the same
Go back
one?
2.
Go back 2.
Okay. Now this is it. Would you rather believe or would you rather know, and why?
Okay.
That's with anything.
Okay.
That's with it. Would you rather believe
That's an easy
something
one.
Oh, would you rather know?
That's
And
easy.
why?
I'd rather know.
Right.
The reason why I rather know because it's facts. When someone can tell me something and making me have me to believe it, and it can be very deceiving, and it can just
don't even be
false.
true.
It cannot be true.
Right.
So I'd rather know.
Okay.
Same here, same.
Same thing.
Oh, yeah,
Same
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Well, that was my little segment right there. I didn't want to hold y'all long enough. We done kept.
So
we done handcuffed you.
we got the invoice coming for real. So,
yeah.
but we definitely want to make sure we do not leave because I've
give
been
y'all
doing some
handles
great
and stuff
doing
like
some
that.
great things. I didn't know if you wanted to share some of the things that you're doing that you're involved in.
Well, I would like to
and
make-
then any last comments you want to make and
And
how do
Instagram,
you get in
Twitter,
contact you
Facebook,
and
whatever.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to mention that if you're attending the Orlando premiere show, June 3rd, I have designed and produced the world's first line of pre-crafted salons. And the pre-crafted salons is the next new trend beyond the sweet salons.
The ones that you got with Tesla.
I have them for grid and off grid.
Okay.
Okay. So with the pre-crafted salons, basically, if you rent a salon suite, the average is $250 a week, $1,000 a month. With my pre-crafted salons, you own the whole building, the whole space, and your mortgage should be half of what you pay for the suites. So this is teaching more business, more real estate to people in the industry, and basically it's increasing your income by $25,000 or so a year, pretty easy.
That's what I want more information on that.
Yeah, well, I was
And
say, where
they,
can I get the information from to look that up?
They I give I'm Floyd Kenyatta. You can go Google Floyd Kenyatta. You can follow my group. My brand is called Takahara. Okay, but on the Floyd Kenyatta Facebook page, you'll still see the information there. You can link into it.
We'll have all your information in the show notes too.
Okay, and not only that, we also offer financing.
Okay.
Okay, so we have credit coaching also. We offer financing also. Okay, we have all of that in house, and with our pre-crafted spaces, we do boutiques, we do barbershop, beauty salon, makeup studios. They are little buildings.
Right.
Okay, and we have the off-grid units come solar powered. We cut our deal with Tesla that we have their power walls, and we have some other lower end power walls. Okay, but also we have what we call plug and play. The plug and play, when they deliver the unit to you,
It's already you can plug
you
in.
plug it into your house.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And
I
it's
seen
ready
that. I
to
seen
go.
that. I seen that.
So now let me ask you a question, just real quick, and I know we're going, but so the salons, right? So you say you offer the business side to the coaching of it. You will talk about where finding the property, where to put it, and all that.
All of that.
All that's part of the whole.
All of that. We basically offer seminars
Okay.
that you can come to understand how it works, how it benefits you, because it's more to it than just, I take one of those.
Right.
You know, there's a lot to know.
Right.
Like a lot of people say, well, they won't let that in my city, they won't let it in my this and that. It's like understand the law.
Right.
If you got a structure, if it's less than 200 square feet, it's a shed anyway.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Right.
If it's less than 200 square feet, you don't have to have the zoning and the permits anyway.
Right.
If they give you a hard time with the association that they don't want to grant you the rights to have it, at that point, you don't connect to the grid.
Right.
You go off grid.
Off grid.
Okay?
Right.
So all the permits and the laws come when you're trying to plug into the grid. Okay? You're
Gotcha.
good to go.
Gotcha.
So watch Donald Trump. He's real sharp.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a way around everything.
Right.
All you have to do is do your research, do your homework,
Yeah.
and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay? Try to make it happen.
Yeah, because I remember,
Yeah.
I remember when I was an inspector. Plus, people looking around and some of the small shops. And I remember this one guy had a shop here in Raleigh. Actually, he negotiated the terms for the parking lot space. He was like, you got all this vacant space in this huge parking lot. I'm gonna show you how to make money, and he was able to put his business right there inside the shopping center. And on one side of it, it became right in the parking lot. Put a small little 2-chair shop. And negotiated that space and dropped it right in there. So that's something they can do with your
Absolutely, because you're paying taxes. It's still money for the city.
Right.
You know, it's just a matter of showing them how it enhanced the whole city.
Okay.
How it looks, that it's the future, you know, and it's moving forward. You know, a lot of places want to stay old-fashioned.
Yeah.
You know, when this is technology.
You gotta
This
change
is what
with
life
the
is.
times.
Yeah,
Gotta keep
it's
up
a
with
new
the
day.
times. Yes,
I mean,
It's a new day.
they do that with these little pop-up like coffee houses and coffee shops. They drop them right in there. Not everybody got to be the big Starbucks. You got the big pop-up drive-through. Let's do coffee, ice cream.
That's it.
Couple hours, they making their money, they go.
So it's a new
That's
day.
what I like
It's a new
that.
day.
I like that.
It's a new day.
I know that's right.
So-
I definitely
so-
got to get tapped in on this.
Okay, so
I
at
don't know about
the
y'all, but I
premiere
know I am.
show, I did a partnership with Pibbs and Byron. So at their booth at the Orlando show, you'll see 2 of my models on display at the Orlando
That's
show.
it.
When is the
That's
Orlando
it.
show?
June 3rd.
June
3rd,
3rd.
4th, and 5th.
Okay.
Then at Las Vegas, they have Cosmocraft Las Vegas, and that's a global show. I would have my unit at the global show that we introduce it to the world in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you're doing it this year?
Is hot, yeah, this year. So it's a hot moment. For
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
It's a hot moment for us.
All right.
All
Okay.
right.
So
You give your handle with your information.
Oh yeah,
Get it
so
up, shit.
absolutely. So everybody, you can follow me on Instagram at Aubrey_Harley_pro. That's AUBREY_HARLEY_PRO. Everyone, make sure you get out there and connect. Get your geodesic curve cone. It is the cone of the future. So make sure you have it. You can contact me definitely on Instagram for it.
We'll make sure that's in the notes. We
Yeah,
got
make sure that's in the
Yes,
notes.
sir.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, we need gas money too.
You need some gas.
You
That's
understand?
that's in the notes too.
Because it's the fast knuckle and the slow down. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so as we go after the millions, we still need the 20. You got
Man, I enjoyed y'all today, man. I really did, man. I
It's
enjoyed
real
y'all.
talk. It's just
I
real.
really did. It's real.
It's
It's
real.
real, man.
And I thank y'all for all the gems y'all shared. We'll hope this will not be the last time we have this conversation. We can reconnect again, virtual, whatever. We'd like to stay in touch with you.
Yes, we definitely
Well, I know I am. I want to stay
We'll
connected.
stay in contact.
Stay in touch.
Yes, we'll do.
So I thank you guys.
All
All right, I
Okay.
appreciate you.
Okay.
Appreciate you. So this is another episode of Underrated Profession. I'm William Grant, Big Fundamentals.
And I'm Mike Sauce, aka Maestro, aka the Great, aka the hands are ordained by the barber gods. You know what I'm saying? And then our guest, y'all. Thank y'all so much, man.
All right.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all so much.
That's awesome.
Hey, thank y'all so much.
There's an email.
Oh, but let me get your information right here. Can
Yeah,
y'all
we
write
need to get y'all information
write this
because
down on
Oh,
right.
yes, on the yep.
Okay, give it to those guys.
we
My email,
get
my
all-
email on the box.
All your information. I need.
June the 3rd. That's the one in Orlando.
He got it. He got everything.
He got the box in his
He
hand.
got everything.
My
That
email right
all
there.
his info.
Yeah. Orlando.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
check
you,
it
sir.
out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Y'all seen that old big right there.